One Judgment Day member is talking about bringing in a heavy hitter into the group, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's new with the Wyatts, CM Punk, and more. Starting things off with the latest big developments from the Wyatt Six. Due to the shorter episodes of Raw, we do not get to see the Wyatts as much as we did before, but WWE is still finding ways to continue their storyline off screen. And that's what they did this week for the October 28th edition of Raw. They were not physically there, but a big off-screen moment happened that you might have missed. The Miz was seen in an absolute panic state backstage, since he's now fully aware that Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six are now after him. One of his first moves was to apologize to R-Truth for turning his back on him and trying to reform the Awesome Truth. Obviously, it was not a sincere apology and reunion proposal. The Miz was just trying to get some help and some extra bodies around him for when the Wyatts eventually come for him again. And R-Truth's character could get spaced out and confused a lot of the time, but he knew exactly what the Miz was up to here and turned down his offer and was perfectly fine with the idea of the Wyatts taking the Miz out. Then later on, Karrion Kross and Scarlett discovered that the Miz has been taken by the Wyatt Six. Karrion Kross does not seem to care that much about what happened to the Miz. Kross and the Miz may have been conversing for a few weeks, but they were not really clicking that well at all. Kross really turned his feelings against the Miz after Paul Ellering took a bullet for the Miz from Uncle Howdy, and Miz's response was trying to end his partnership with the Final Testament right after. So all those actions from the Miz had him on bad terms with not only the Wyatts, but the Final Testament as well. Despite Kross not being the biggest fan of the Miz right now, he acknowledged that they need each other if they're going to take on the Wyatt Six. So that's why Karrion Kross doesn't extremely care too much about the Miz's kidnapping, but he knows that he's going to have to save him because he needs him in this current battle. So now the story is that Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six have the Miz captive in wherever their hideout may be. And when WWE does these sort of captive storylines, you got to expect that the Miz will be off social media, not doing any media appearances to further sell the idea that he's held captive right now by the Wyatts. And who knows what the Wyatts are doing to the Miz right now off screen, and who knows how this captive time may really change the Miz once he gets back. Judging by how this story has been paced out so far, it really seems like WWE is doing a every other week storytelling method for their big stories on Raw. So since there was not a big on-screen moment for the Wyatts in the Final Testament feud on October 28th, all signs point to the November 4th edition of Raw to include another big on-screen moment for this storyline. Maybe we'll get a peek at how The Miz has been held captive by the Wyatt Six and what has happened there. But it is an interesting direction because the Wyatts cannot really use The Miz as leverage over Karrion Kross because, like we just went over, Kross does not care that much at all about The Miz. But now if the Wyatt Six get their hands on his wife Scarlett, then that's a whole different situation. And maybe that'll wake up Kross a bit to care about what Howdy is saying. So we'll have to see if the Wyatts try to take another member of Kross's camp captive, or if it'll only be The Miz. JD McDonagh was recently a guest on one of WWE Deutschland's live streams, and he opened up about the big addition he would like to see the Judgment Day make. He had this to say, quote, "We need a badass for an additional Judgment Day member in War Games. Maybe Oba Femi from NXT. Someone out of left field. Yeah, somebody big. A big enforcer. I'd take him. He's got swag. He's got confidence. He can throw people around. I think he'd fit in. I'd take him. I wonder, would he look good in purple?" End quote. And JD McDonagh makes a really good point here. The Judgment Day has a gaping hole in the enforcement department. Just look at the Bloodline, for example. They got Jacob Fatu as their enforcer, and it absolutely works wonderfully. He's like the secret weapon that switches the tides for the Bloodline whenever they need it to be flipped. And the Judgment Day really does not have that type of individual right now in that role within the group. They technically have it for the women's side of their faction. Raquel is no doubt the muscle and enforcer for Liv Morgan, so they have that going for them at least. But in terms of the men's side of the faction, you have just Finn, JD, Carlito, and Dominic. Sure, Finn sort of fills the leader role, but no one out of those four really fits the enforcer role. the Jacob Fatu sort of role, the individual that's going to strike fear in people's hearts all on their own. And JD's pick of NXT's Obafemi is absolutely perfect for the enforcer role for the Judgment Day. Now that's someone that could carry the muscle role for the Judgment Day and be able to match up equally against your Jacob Fatus of the world. JD really wants to see Obafemi in some purple and black and have him stand on their side. There's been a lot of conflicting reports about Obafemi in recent weeks. There were some rumblings that he'll be called up to the main roster following his NXT North American title loss, but new reports claim that he will remain with NXT for the time being. But still just an interesting thought brought up by JD, because that's exactly what the Judgment Day can use right now. So Obafemi or not, the Judgment Day does need to keep looking and picking an enforcer because it's a big missing piece for the group. CM Punk has been away on a mini hiatus from the WWE for a few weeks now, and it looks like he just revealed his new obsession that's been keeping him busy in the meantime. CM Punk has been sharing lots of Instagram stories of himself watching the Penguin TV series. Punk is a massive comic book fan, so that show fits right into his likings. So CM Punk appears to be enjoying his time off and really indulging in the Penguin. As far as the latest update when we could expect to see CM Punk back inside the ring, reports continue to hint that CM Punk could be a part of Survivor Series card. So assuming that is true and remains the case, then it looks like we can expect to see CM Punk return any week now and instantly get involved in a big feud to set up a match at Survivor Series. And if it doesn't happen in that fashion, maybe it's possible that CM Punk could return at the Survivor Series event itself as well. So lots of big things to look forward to there from CM Punk and his upcoming chase to the World Heavyweight title. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.